Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Veil background information. We're doing a character profile today and we're going to be doing about one of my favourite characters that I've invented recently. Which, yeah, they really are one of my favourite characters, and that's Vix Perdido. They're from my Reciprocity series, which is up on Wattpad. You can read it on Wattpad for free. The censored version is on Patreon, but yeah, it's worth a read for Vix's parts, if not anything else's. But anyway, as always with my character profiles, I'll give you a brief quote from them if I can find a suitable quote, and then I'll talk a little bit about what went into my mind while I was making this character. Some have got really odd things for what went into my mind, and then I'll give you a brief outline, brief character profile, and yeah, that'll be it. So we're doing about Vix Perdido. So Vix gave a sudden yelp, being hoisted right up into Bean's arms and making Vix turn completely into a red fox in his arms. It was enough to make Bean chuckle and then nuzzle his nose against the fox's. Vix gave a soft snort as he was then gently settled onto the ground, where he shifted back with a soft blush of embarrassment. Quote from Reciprocity. I don't think that quote does not really do much except for tell you about their shape-shifting ability. So it's hard to find one of my favourite Vix moments that wouldn't make YouTube scream, because Vix is sassy, saucy, and overall just the most enjoyable character to play with. When I was developing the idea that the twins had a mother that was a kitsune, I kept thinking of different things, and then I decided, you know what, let's do what I really want to do. I gave them a literal gender fluid parent that was androsexual and a drag queen, and just tons of friggin' fun. I've been playing with drag queens with Theodotus in the Viper Clan series, but no one's as amazing as Vix and his companions. And well, Vix is just crazy, just everything crazy and enjoyable. The best thing about Vix, apart from having the best quips, being the most wicked but loving person, tormenting the life out of his sons because he's openly flirting with the goody goody being, is that Vix is sort of the key to everything. First, it's Rufio going to Vix and starting to learn about his family, then the curiosity about what Vix's past actually entailed, how not to let them be in a relationship with Bean, to even more about their past. They're the ongoing mystery along with every other mystery, and it just gets more interesting and amusing. I didn't realise it at first when I was doing it, but yeah, I started to realise that Vix is the sort of bridge to every chaotic thing that happens in Reciprocity. Like, from just Rufio and Sorin dealing with their own past, and then to, trying not to revive things, and then the porridge leopard. Oh god, just like it's just sometimes with Vix, the funniest bits are just like the little mentions that they have in the background, like one of the bad guys that, well, I say bad guys, that Vix used to work with was a were leopard called Enoch. He got trapped in the Dream Wolf Vale and comes back as nightmares to kill everyone, and the only way to ward him away is to have a porridge carving of a leopard somewhere in a house. And there's just this brief little quip about how at one point Rufio did something and it exploded and burnt in the microwave, and they had this leopard porridge thing impressed into the door of the microwave for a little while. So yeah, it's those kind of things about Vix and Vix's paranoia, and then just like the random bits like being asked why they have a crucifix on each side of the house when they're not that religious, and make a point that there's a demon running the bar beneath them. It's just these little things that just like it's the comic relief, but also just everything adds up to something in the end. So it's really enjoyable, and it's one of the things I love about Vix, because just them existing makes it more fun. So I will give you their profile now. So name Vix Perdido, Position, doctor, drag artist, and exotic dancer. Story featured in reciprocity. Role, mother character. Gender, both. Gender fluid, literally, but prefers male form. Description, red eyes, classically handsome male face. Initially had black sclera, but this has been dealt with through Kitsune transformation ability. 5'8", broad-chested with figure skater's sort of body as they describe it. Neck length, brilliant red hair that's often just brushed back. Olive skin, hairy arms due to Kitsune heritage. In female form, has a long face with eyes a little closer together. Long red hair with flowing down the back, big hips and big bum in both forms. Occasionally shows off one foxtail or fox ears and can stand in a two-legged fox form that may be male or female as with their fox form. So, Realm the Veil. Abilities. Ability to change shape and gender. Turn into a fox, rip off their tail to use it for some specific power and regrow it. Use lightning to strike their enemies. Pretty damn agile and faster than expected with the ability to use the staff to help direct lightning. And also an ability to withstand fire as long as they have one tail. Some say Vix is actually far older than they appear and can turn into a Kyuubi Kitsune and use lightning on others. Vix says this is horse dung. Master themselves. Personality, confident to the point everything seems casual, vain, overtly affectionate, enigmatic, and yet charming in a way that borders on seductive even without meaning to. Relations, mother of Soren and Rufio by unnamed father, former fiance of the deceased Hernando Miranda, adoptive son, sort of Kenny Matthews, though. Him and Grampy's relationship is a bit weird. Best friend, although debated lover of Nicole. So, history. Debatable subject, seemingly abandoned on the islands and knowing only the assumptions made about them. Vix grew up in the woods, living mostly as their fox form, but interacted with the human boy Hernando Miranda until finally his parents took Vix in and integrated him into society. He was deemed male until a thorough health examination at 11 years old revealed his intersex nature. Not having let anyone see him naked was assumed to have been why it took so long for everyone to notice. Vix grew up with Fernando and has been vague on most of their experiences, but falling in love with him young. Then, upon graduating high school, moving to the big city on Chrysomalis to gain abilities as a surgeon. They were then moved over to Charybdis for a time to study and learn about the health care of the gladiators, but an incident saving one with methods not trained in got him kicked out. It was presumed around this time they were impregnated by another gladiator before being threatened for how sinful their pregnancy was and returning to Chrysomalis to Hernando. There they stayed with Hernando, birthed twin boys, but due to the war and the need to keep the boys out of public eye, they moved around the islands a lot until one day they were found out by a former friend and the boys were taken into custody. As Hernando had declared support for the failed brotherhood and the island was deemed neutral, the children were moved under the fact that both their parents were poor and that they were subversives, though Vix had not taken a side. The information is hazy, however. Sometime later, Vix ended up a medical professional within the failed brotherhood, and oddly well known and respected amongst their ranks, although they have not explained this, and at one point were due to marry Hernando before he was killed in a battle with a traitor. The last bit of information Vix has about them is that just before the death of the leader, they were offered something by the heroic Blythe and switched sides. However, their switch meant that for the failed second in command, there was no one to back up his claims and he was killed, something Vix feels responsible for. Vix then got into working to help everyone adjust to the new system and met their sons again, being able to interact, send money, and then have them living with them. But Vix has been deliberately loose on their information. For example, they were assumed to have been inspired to switch sides when the sides came together to work on a cure for a plague, and certainly that at this time they made their connection with Dr. Ken Matthews. Too much of Vix's story is debatable and doesn't seem to fit a correct timeline, so there is always the concern that Vix is lying about everything. Final comments. They've replaced some of my more bizarre characters from the day before I understood my own gender identity as one of my all-time favourite characters. Having someone to let my own catty side come out has come through Vix, but they are so sulky and pouty at times too. Oh, I just love them, and I hope you enjoyed listening to that, if only because I just sound ridiculous talking about it. So thank you.